What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad, Sean, and today, reactions to the classics. We are continuing our journey through the 90s as we give our best albums of 1994. We're going to be doing 5 albums apiece in our draft here, and man, it's been fun. And if you've missed any of the other episodes that we've done, starting with 1965 up to now, you can check out our playlist. That'll be linked at the end screen.
Correct. And if you don't know how this works, Trey gets first pick this year. I get second and third pick. And, sometimes first pick, it doesn't matter. There's some years here in the 90s where you have first pick, and I really wished I did. But we're a year away from your birth year, Trey. So
Yeah.
I'm going to... And guys, pay attention to who you think won. Let us know below, and let us know your top album. So be thinking of that from the year 1994. All right, Trey, you get to kick it off with an album. This is one of those years I really, really wanted this album because I think this is far and away the best album of the year.
Oh yeah, man! This is this is one of the top. I mean, I couldn't place it below like number 3 on hip hop albums of all time. We're going Nas's Illmatic right here. Only 20 years old when he made this, and
crazy.
A teenager when he penned a lot of this. And I mean, this has been called the hip hop Bible by a lot of people. Even the Source magazine, famous hip hop magazine, broke its five mic. If you got 5 mics in the Source, that was something like that really didn't happen, and they ended up giving it to Nas, which caused controversy at the time. But they made that right decision.
They did.
Man. Run of legendary tracks on here is absurd, man. You got New York State of Mind, Life's a Bitch, which has one of the best guest verses you're ever gonna hear from AZ. The World Is Yours, Memory Lane would be kind of the highlight tracks for any other rapper, and they're all on this record right here, showing just his masterful storytelling ability, so much insight and wisdom just from somebody his age at this point,
yeah, it's
too.
crazy.
And just the production from DJ Premier, Pete Rock, among many others on here. Just timeless beats, kind of transport your dad, even though neither of us have ever been to New York, or let alone in the 90s, or really obviously can understand the background of what Nas is going through. He's able to really just kind of transport you to that time and feeling there.
Agree. Totally agree. Yeah, I think it was far and away the best album. So I'm going to have to take the consolation prize. And I didn't choose this album just because it was the next best hip-hop album. It was the next best album. Ready to Die, the debut of the Notorious B.I.G. Partly autobiographical, only album released while he was alive. Big Papa is the standout, but you got Juicy, One More Chance, 6 million sold. What really stands out with Biggie is his ability as a storyteller.
Yeah.
Yes, most hip-hop is storytelling, but this is just different, man. It pulls you in. This bad boy is like many things in the 90s. It's long. It's 17 tracks, 69 minutes, but it doesn't really feel that way.
No, man, I love that you put this on here, Dad, because I mean, Biggie's flow, I think even to this day is unmatched. It's so smooth,
insane.
And I mean, you'll have you got a little bit of everything. You mentioned Big Pop. You got some of your party tracks. You got your kind of deeper tracks like Everyday Struggle,
right?
And then you got your kind of like it ends with like Suicidal Thoughts, which is just a heavy way to end the record, for sure. And it just even the skits in here almost is a bit cinematic. So. Man, I love that you gave Biggie the shout out there.
Well, now we're going to shift gears considerably. Go to Suede and their second album, Dog Star Man, 3 in the UK. Critics didn't like it at the time, but eventually it ends up at number 31 on NME's 500 best albums of all time. Last album to feature guitarist Bernard Butler, as him and Brett Anderson can now get along. I actually... Bernard left before the album was even over with. The Wild Ones is the standout, but the album in itself is just a nice journey all the way along. 12 songs, 58 minutes. There's not a bad one on there. What do you got?
Yeah, man, I prefer Suede's debut, but
I know you do.
Dog Star Man still a solid effort.
Yeah.
But that would not have been my on my radar. So I'm glad you gave it a shout.
All right.
I think my clear number 2 is going to be 9 Inch Nails' Downward Spiral, their second record right here, and has a bit of a wild backstory because it was Reznor and company went to Cielo Drive where Shannon Tate was murdered. They recorded a lot in there. I mean, of course you have the song Piggy on here, which kind of probably took some inspiration from that. Obviously, you have "Hurt," which I prefer over the Johnny Cash cover version, which most people these days I think prefer Cash's version. But it's one of the bleakest and just dark records you're gonna hear. Kind of a concept record where you got a guy descending into madness, and it ends with his suicide on "Hurt." So not one you're gonna listen to be uplifted.
You're not spending it every day before work going, hey man, let's get the day started.
But man, I think Reznor did great with the industrial type of music. You also have a production by Flood, who of course did a lot of stuff for Depeche Mode. So production on here is fantastic. And man, I think it. And, Closer was a big hit too that still gets played to this day. So giving that a shout out, and also got to give a shout out to Jeff Buckley. Grace is my
great choice.
Next pick. We've done a full album reaction to this, and it was his debut, only album that was released when he was alive. David Bowie called this his favorite album of all time.
High praise.
So many musicians love Jeff, and it just really showcases his legendary voice and a lot of diversity in sound, which some people might not know if they only know Hallelujah, which of course cover of Leonard Cohen. That's another one where I think most people think it's a Buckley song.
No, they do. Yeah, they do.
And you have hard rockers to folky acoustic numbers in the vein of Nick Drake. Lover You Should Have Come Over is one of my favorites, as well as the title track. So man, pretty strong at the top for me.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, Buckley's guitar playing is something that doesn't get nearly enough play in there. So, all right, well, Trey, you mentioned this man just in your 9 Inch Nails. It's not on this album, but my third pick, American Recordings from Johnny Cash. His 81st album, wrap your head around that. It's basically all acoustic. Let the Train Blow the Whistle, The Beast in Me, Down There by the Train, we got that train thing going on there, are the standouts. But this is the first one in the American Recordings. There's 5 of them that were recorded, 4 of them during his lifetime. And American Recordings 4 that has "Hurt" is the most famous one.
Yeah.
Although so far I've went through the first 4, and I think this is the best one on there. And story is, Cash was kind of out of recording. Ruben comes to him and says, hey man, why don't we make an album together? And he starts sending him stuff, and Cash is like, I don't know. And so Johnny sounds great on this. He gets really sick partway through the American Recordings. It's a 10-year span where they record him, and his voice sounds different on the later ones, but just a fantastic thing from Johnny. Somebody his age, in his 60s, when he's delivering it gives some of these songs more gravity.
No, I think that's a great point, man, and I definitely need to check it out, because I've heard high praise all around.
Well, there you go. Well, my fourth pick, His and Hers by Pulp.
Good record.
4th studio album, 9 in the UK, Lip Gloss, Happy Endings, Do You Remember the First Time, Have You Seen Her Lately? Jarvis and the Boys, even though it's their 4th album, their first big album, had already been together for 16 years. Obviously, you can tell by the song titles. We got a theme. It's quite risque. I actually think it's that much better than Different Class, their next album. I know you don't agree with that.
I couldn't get behind that, but
you've been wrong on occasion. So a really, really good album from Pulp.
No, man, Pulp. Pulp and Blur really have impressed me going through kind of these '90s records. And I'm gonna go now to Soundgarden's best record, in my opinion. We have Superunknown, their 4th album, debuted at 1. Their breakthrough. If you're familiar with Soundgarden, their late '80s. And even Bad Motorfinger, kind of is still a bit in that heavy metal type vein. Here they kind of combine that with the more grungy, sound of the time, of course. And I think it makes for their best work. Fell on Black Days is probably my favorite. Of course, Black Hole Sun,
so good.
The most famous song on this, and it has a really good music video as well. Spoon Man, 4th of July are all fantastic. And man, I mean, Cornell, one of my favorite vocalists of all time.
One of the greatest vocalists of all time. That would have made my list. It would have.
So yeah, I had to give that love. And we are going to finish the record off with the second and final record from Drivelikejehu, Yank Crime, post-hardcore masterpiece. If you know me, I love my post-hardcore, love my punk, man. So I had to give this a shout. Their debut was really solid as well, but this is even a step up from that, man. Aggressive and noisy. That's kind of the draw from this. Though there are many songs songs that top, 6-7 minutes in length.
Welcome to the mid-90s.
Yeah, showcase the guitar greatness of John Reese. Here Comes the Rome Plows and Luau are my favorites on this one.
All right, well, I'm up to my last pick, and we're going to stay over in the UK with Definitely Maybe by Oasis. Their debut album sold 100,000 copies in its first 4 days and debuted at number 1. First week sales earned the record of the fastest selling debut album in British history at the time. Sold over 8 million copies. You got Rock and Roll Star. You got Live Forever.
Live Forever, classic.
And The Great Slide Away. This album is really, really good. I did a reaction to it. It's up on the channel. I only knew What's a Story, Morning Glory when I went into doing this one. This one is great.
No, man, it's a solid effort. And, man, I'm looking. You're waving that British
I know,
British
3 of the
flag,
5. I noticed that one with Biggie and Cash. You can't say that I'm not diverse there. So now we go to the honorable mentions. There's a lot of them. No Need to Argue by the Cranberries. That was my last cut. Mm-hmm. You got Second Coming by the Stone Roses, The Holy Bible by the Manic Street Preachers, Vitology by Pearl Jam, Wildflowers by Petty. That was right there in my last pick too. Monster by REM.
Yeah, I also had Jar of Flies by AIC. It's a EP technically, so I didn't include it on there, or else it would have been. Nick Cave, Let Love In, one of his strong records.
Yes, that was on my honorable mention too.
The Green Day, Dookie, man.
Owned the CD back in the day.
Got some absolute classics on that thing. Guided by Voices, B1000. Low, I Could Live in Hope, a nice kind of lo-fi, slowcore, sad record. Hole, Live Through This. Pavement, Crooked Rain, their best record probably. Sunny Day Real Estate, going early emo action with a Diary. Weezer, Blue Album, that's probably making it for a lot of people.
It probably is. I couldn't get on board with that one, but I'll just leave it there.
A solid record, but I'm not a huge Weezer guy. Really, this is the only album by them I think is great. So, and then Ween, Chocolate and Cheese, I really dug too. So, all in all, man, I think this is a pretty darn
It's a pretty good year.
It's
a pretty good year for sure.
For me, and because even a lot of these honorable mentions, a lot of diversity in sound and stuff as well. But of course, let us know, as Sean mentioned earlier, what your favorites from '94 are and who you think is coming out on top. And next week we'll be back with my birth year, ladies and gentlemen,
1995. And guys, if you'd like sports anyway, check out the Patreon link on the end screen or the Patreon link below. And if you're a patron, you get to vote. We have monthly listening parties where we vote for a winner of the year, and then we put those 4 winners together and we vote on who we're going to have a listening party at 6 o'clock on YouTube once a month on Thursday. So, yeah, Trey, that'll do it for now.
So until next time, thanks for watching, happy listening, and we will see you.